New Frontline reports are sending shockwaves through the international community as Putin's highly touted Pokrovsk offensive appears to be crumbling from the inside. Fresh updates suggest that Russian forces are facing unexpected logistical breakdowns, fierce counter-pressure, and rapidly deteriorating battlefield conditions. Analysts say this could be one of the most surprising turning points of the conflict, raising urgent questions about Russia's strategy, leadership decisions, and internal morale. Today, we break down the unraveling offensive and what it means for both sides. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's report focuses on new developments emerging from the Pokrovsk axis, where Russia's highly publicized offensive is reportedly running into serious operational challenges. According to multiple independent sources, what was initially announced as a decisive push instead become a showcase of logistical strain, tactical missteps, and unexpectedly tough resistance. Analysts observing the situation note that Russia's original objectives have slowed to a crawl, forcing commanders to reassess their approach. Meanwhile, Ukrainian units on the defensive appear to be leveraging fortified positions, drone surveillance, and coordinated artillery coverage to neutralize Russian advances more effectively than anticipated. The result is a rapidly shifting battlefield picture that contrasts sharply with earlier claims of progress. As more information surfaces, the Pokrovsk offensive is increasingly being viewed as a potential turning point in the broader conflict, raising new questions for military observers across the world. Fresh intelligence assessments suggest that one of the primary reasons for the collapse of the Pokrovsk offensive is severe logistical dysfunction within Russian supply lines. Reports indicate that fuel shortages, miscommunication between units, and delays in ammunition distribution have left several frontline formations unable to sustain consistent pressure. These issues have reportedly been amplified by difficult weather conditions, poor road infrastructure, and increased Ukrainian interdiction efforts targeting supply convoys. Military analysts argue that without stable logistics, even the best operational plans can fail quickly. As Russian troops attempted to advance, these bottlenecks created gaps in momentum, giving Ukrainian defenders the opportunity to regroup and reinforce critical areas. Observers are now questioning whether Russian command misjudged the complexity of maintaining a large-scale offensive in this sector. The combination of overstretched resources and rising resistance has contributed significantly to the overall unraveling of the operation. Another major factor contributing to the offensive struggles appears to be internal communication breakdowns within Russian command structures. Reports highlight difficulties in coordinating unit movements, inconsistent transmission of orders, and delays in relaying frontline data. Analysts explain that such issues can create tactical confusion, leaving advancing units vulnerable to counterattacks or trapped in exposed positions. Ukrainian forces, meanwhile, have reportedly capitalized on these weaknesses by striking at moments when Russian unit cohesion seemed weakest. Communication challenges also reportedly hinder Russia's ability to integrate drone intelligence and artillery support efficiently. As a result, Russian formations have struggled to synchronize their assaults, reducing the effectiveness of combined arms tactics that are crucial for offensive success. Military experts suggest that these internal coordination problems reflect broader systemic issues and may continue to undermine Russian operations unless addressed at a structural level. Ukrainian defensive preparation has also played a significant role in slowing Russia's momentum. Weeks before the offensive began, Ukrainian engineers and frontline units reportedly reinforced defensive belts around key settlements near Pokrovsk. These defenses include layered trench systems, concealed firing positions, anti-vehicle obstacles, and extensive drone monitoring networks. Analysts say that these fortifications allowed Ukrainian defenders to detect advancing units early, disrupt formations, and neutralize threats before they could gather force. The effective use of surveillance drones has been particularly important, giving Ukrainian commanders real-time intelligence on Russian movements. Combined with precise artillery fire, this has created a challenging environment for advancing troops. Observers note that Ukraine's ability to anticipate the offensive likely contributed to the strategic slowdown now being witnessed. The defensive planning has forced Russia into difficult and costly maneuvers without gaining significant ground. Another emerging theme is the toll that battlefield conditions are reportedly taking on troop morale within Russian ranks. Eyewitness accounts and intercepted communications indicate that some units are experiencing fatigue, uncertainty, and frustration due to the prolonged nature of the operation. Military analysts emphasize that morale is a critical component of offensive success, influencing decision-making, unit coordination, and overall combat effectiveness. Harsh weather, continuous Ukrainian surveillance, and the lack of clear progress reportedly contribute to the pressure. When forces are unable to achieve expected milestones, internal confidence in leadership decisions can weaken. These morale issues, while difficult to quantify, may be playing a significant role in the current stagnation of Russian advances. Experts stress that any major operation must maintain momentum to keep forces motivated, and this appears to be a growing challenge for the Pokrovsk push. Ukrainian counter-pressure has also influenced the direction of the conflict around Pokrovsk. Instead of merely holding defensive lines, Ukrainian commanders reportedly launched localized counterattacks designed to disrupt Russian staging areas and force reallocation of manpower. These targeted operations, analysts say, keep the opposing forces off balance and complicate offensive planning. Reports also indicate an increased use of long-range precision weapons to strike logistical hubs, command posts, and equipment concentrations behind Russian lines. By hitting these strategic points, Ukraine has allegedly weakened Russia's ability to sustain forward momentum. Observers believe these countermeasures have not only slowed the offensive, but may have contributed to the perception that the initiative is slipping out of Russia's hands. The ability to apply pressure while maintaining defensive integrity is now being recognized as a key component of Ukraine's strategy in this sector. Strategic miscalculations may also explain why the Pokrovsk offensive is losing traction. Analysts reviewing the situation suggest that Russian planners may have underestimated both the strength of Ukrainian defenses and the difficulty of the terrain. Satellite imagery reveals areas with dense urban structures, narrow access routes, and natural obstacles that limit maneuverability. Such conditions favor defenders, especially when equipped with modern surveillance tools. Furthermore, the assumption that Ukrainian forces were overstretched may have been inaccurate, as new reinforcements and better organized reserves appear to have arrived sooner than Russia anticipated. These elements together suggest that the initial strategic assessment may not have aligned with the realities on the ground. When miscalculations occur at the planning stage, the consequences often multiply during execution, which may explain why momentum has been difficult for Russia to maintain. International analysts are watching the situation closely, noting that the apparent failure of this offensive could influence broader geopolitical calculations. Governments and military observers are examining what the slowdown reveals about Russia's overall capabilities and long-term objectives. If the Pokrovsk push was expected to demonstrate renewed strength, its reported difficulties may raise concerns within Russia's strategic community. Similarly, Ukraine's ability to resist and counter may boost confidence among its partners. Experts argue that these developments could affect future diplomatic discussions, resource allocations, and military support decisions. The international community is particularly interested in whether Russia will attempt to regroup for another major push or shift its focus to other sectors. As more data comes in, the situation around Pokrovsk is becoming a focal point for understanding the next phase of the conflict. Media coverage has also played a significant role in shaping public perception of the unfolding situation. Reports of stalled advances, internal challenges, and counterattacks have circulated widely, creating a narrative of an offensive struggling to meet expectations. Russian state media continues to present a more controlled version of events, but independent outlets and international correspondents are highlighting discrepancies. Analysts note that information warfare is a major component of modern conflict, and both sides understand the power of shaping narratives. The portrayal of the Pokrovsk offensive as faltering may influence public opinion, political discussions, and even troop morale. With social media amplifying every update, the speed at which information spreads makes it difficult to control the storyline. As a result, perception often becomes as important as battlefield realities in determining how operations are viewed worldwide. As the situation continues to unfold, several key questions remain about the long-term implications of the Pokrovsk offensive's reported decline. Analysts are watching to see whether Russia will attempt to reinforce the sector, redirect efforts to more favorable fronts, or shift to defensive postures. Meanwhile, Ukraine may seek to leverage this momentum to strengthen its own positions or launch further counter-operations. The evolving nature of the conflict means that both sides must constantly adapt their strategies based on real-time developments. Observers caution that although current reports suggest a downturn for the offensive, the broader conflict remains unpredictable. What happens next will depend on logistical capabilities, leadership decisions, international support, and battlefield dynamics. For now, the Pokrovsk front serves as a reminder of how quickly momentum can shift and how complex large-scale military operations truly are. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest Frontline updates. Your support helps us continue delivering accurate, responsible, and in-depth coverage. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We always value your feedback. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more breaking developments.